is happening. I think it is happening. Awesome. We are here. Oh my goodness. I want to say hello to everyone. A little impromptu get together with my dear friend, Kathy Ford, who I'll introduce to you. But I just want to give everyone a hot second to get on and see that we have in fact gone live, because it takes just a minute on Facebook to show up. But I'm hoping many of you can join me. I think I have something obstructing my camera here. Okay. I'm hoping many of you can join us today. I have a lovely and special message for those of you that are out there that are looking to level up your business. And I'm bringing Kathy here to share more about her business. And I will introduce you in just a second, Kathy, because I think we're just waiting to get a couple of people to hop on. But in the meantime, you've got a lot on your plate as you were getting ready for this impromptu live, because you were just introducing your business last night, which was totally crazy and cool. And I love that so much.
Yes.
Things are just happening, you know?
It is. It's a, you know what? It's an amazing time. I feel like right now, and I say that, I mean, I just say this authentically. I know sometimes we talk about things, but I think right now more than ever, Tracy, there's an energy that's coming around, just like women stepping in to press forward the kingdom, I feel like, and really stepping into, you know, what, you know, I obviously I've launched all of my children. And so I'm in a new place in life, but just this recognition that it's never too late. You know, it's never too late to start something, to do something. And, you know, if God kind of put the vision or purpose or dream inside your heart, he intended for you to step into it. And so I think right now, I really feel like, and just like you, like us, how we collaborate, how we met, and just this immediate synergy of just, you know, you are really passionate about helping others and making an impact. And so I'm excited about what is happening. And I feel like it's like a big momentum push right now, which is just, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome.
I love that so much. And, you know, we only ever hear the negative news out there. Hey, if you're just joining us, we're just getting warmed up. We're talking a little bit on the fly here in the background to wait till you all jump on. But if you would like to drop your name in the comments, let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. Say hello to us. We love a highly engaged audience. We are streaming live to my Facebook group, Wholesaling Real Estate, my personal profile, and my YouTube, as well as Kathy's personal Facebook as well. So hope those of you who don't know me, my name is Tracy Pekurny. I'm the founder and admin of the Wholesaling Real Estate group. And I got connected with Kathy through real estate investing in general. And we just connected and have been, you know, collaborating on just things and talking. And it was a no-brainer to bring Kathy on and to introduce her and share her new venture. But, you know, for those of you who might be on my platform and don't know Kathy, I'm thrilled to have Kathy here today. And I'm really super excited to really introduce her to you. She's a highly accomplished professional who wears many hats. Kathy's a licensed therapist and esteemed author of 31 Days to Brave, which you can grab on Amazon. And she's a renowned business coach. She integrates neuroscience and faith to help individuals overcome toxic thoughts and realign with God's plan. I love that. And she's known for her authenticity and passion. She has a great following on social media. She's has inspired audiences through national and international TV networks, numerous podcasts, and various events. So welcoming, Kathy. It's super exciting to have you here officially, because we've only had private conversations and phone calls, but here we are on StreamYard having a nice little time together. So welcome in. It's an honor to have you with us today. You have an incredible journey. Can you just give us a little starting point as to where did this all begin? How did you kind of get started as an entrepreneur? What was your passion?
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. And I just love you, love what you're doing and getting to follow you. And so I love this collaborating with women. You know, when you asked me how I got started, so I've been an entrepreneur really since I was 26 years old. It started I have a master's in clinical psychology. I came straight out, got licensed. I started consulting doing that. 1099 was consulting with businesses, consulting with even drug addiction facilities, things like that. And both of my parents are entrepreneurs. So it was just the life that I knew. But probably what really got me started where I am in the last few years is nothing like, to be totally transparent, is just hitting rock bottom and realizing, like when you're at rock bottom and there's nothing there, like, okay, Lord, there's only you left. And really coming from that place of just God absolutely infusing me with just his plan, and just really looking at the things that I needed to accept responsibility for, things that weren't my responsibility, that are out of my control, but still I'm in this place. And it was really just this absolute dependence on the Lord of just, okay, what do you want me to do and where am I to go at this point? And that began launching really a journey of launching other businesses, coaching women on multiple continents. It's actually from Australia to Europe to here to Spain. So of just having an opportunity to connect with women really all over the world. And that's probably my passion more than anything. I think if people ask me, like, what's your superpower? A lot of times, you have that question, like, what's your superpower? I would say literally is faith and the word of God, and then getting myself into action. I think those are the things that I just, God has given me. I have disobeyed the Lord when he's told me to do things in the past, and I learned from that the hard way. And so now when I, hear him, I'm going to move forward. And so that's probably part of the journey, is just coming out of that really painful place and recognizing that God had more for me, and it wasn't the end of my journey, and he was rewriting a new text for my life. So
I love that so much. Thank you so much for your transparency and honesty. That's so inspirational to so many, because social media, we can fall in love with the highlight reels. We can see people's success stories. We can see the victories and the wins. Most people want to post the best pictures of themselves, the best case scenarios. But one thing that sort of sets you apart, Kathy, is you post a lot of very vulnerable, transparent content on your Facebook, and you have a tremendous outpouring of, response and engagement on those posts, mainly because I think it's just hitting us where we all are, basically at. We're all imperfect. We're all broken in some way, shape, or form. We're all trying to get it right. And we fall into sometimes survival mode, or sometimes we fall in self-reliant mode and we try to carve our own path. And I think it's our proclivity towards our independent nature, especially as women. But you're talking about leaning into faith. You're talking about grace. We're talking about, trusting in our Creator versus trusting in our own selves. And there's a fine line in that, because I think the ingredients of an entrepreneur is often that gritty tenacity, somebody who is self-driven, self-motivated, pushing hard. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs in this audience. So what's the fine line of success that you're building in your life, a successful business perhaps, and aligning that with faith, where you're allowing God to lead the way? And it's kind of a zigzag, isn't it? What would you say about that?
It's so interesting. Just the timing, because we just planned, with this podcast today, streaming this was pretty newly planned. So I find it interesting that it's coming off the heels of I've coached on the Enneagram, and I in the past, and I've done the test. I know where I land, but just about 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go through it again just to see how, because life experiences and things like that can change, right? And so one of the things that came from that is, are you okay? Am I getting an echo?
I hear you just fine. Okay. Let me mute my microphone.
I just want to double check, because I was hearing an echo. Oh, it's gone now. So one of the things that came out of that just this past week was, typically if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a mover shaker, you're an entrepreneur, you're a driver, you're going to probably land as like a 3 or an 8, that achiever or whatever. One of the things that I was talking to a woman when I was kind of coaching her through a couple of things is, the achiever on the Enneagram, which I fall, that's a really high portion of my Enneagram, 3 and 8. I lean between those two, is you feel loved based on performance. that's really where we, a lot of entrepreneurs, if you go back, you can remember a time in your life where your performance was validated. You found that as a way that you felt loved. And I think for an entrepreneur, it's coming to the place of recognizing that, what is God asking me to do? What have I put on myself to do? And really putting him as the CEO of your company. That's a really big transition. And it's not easy. I'm going to be honest. There's plenty of times where I am just like, it's all on me. But I just got to a place where I was like, okay, a few years back when I was starting another business, and in that time of really broken down, I was just like, okay, I want to hear you and know that you are in this, because I can't do this by myself. And it really became to a place of also learning. One of the hardest things for the achiever or these, high energy, drivers, is recognizing you are good enough, period. Without your performance, without the success, without the comment, the like, the accolade, the whatever it is, just 100%, you are good enough. The God says about us, you are enough. I mean, like, you are loved, cherished, all those things. And he's not basing it on if I, run this marathon, if I, eat right or don't eat right. You know what I mean? Like it's not performance based. And so I think putting God as the CEO, when I officially was like, okay, and that this Rise business that just launched that you were talking about that is the first time I can honestly say, now God, obviously I'm seeking the Lord when I'm starting businesses and doing things and making business decisions, but this business was an absolute burden. And you know what? There's been so much freedom in that. Oh my gosh, because I know that he called me to start that, putting that on the running tracks. Like, I don't even think about it. I'm just like putting my head down, doing what he says. And I'm like, I don't even worry about this business because I know the mission behind it was his anyway, and to help women in the Philippines. So it's a different perspective. And I really, the biggest thing is I feel more responsible to steward it well than I ever have about any other business before. And so, if that was a long answer to your question.
No, tremendous. And I enjoy listening to every word of it because, I think for me, I fall on the 3 and 8 as well in the Enneagram. I always hit 8. And then I always think, am I really an 8? But that's where I fall too. So I totally identify with that self-reliance, but with maturity, with starting to dive into the word, with starting to know the word, we have more confidence as we delve into the promises of God and make them real for ourselves. So as we take them on and we truly trust that, I've just had a season where, I sort of tested God. I pulled back and I said, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let you take over because I'm tired. I need you to take over and give me more clarity and more direction. And, it led me into more prayer, more reading of the word. It was like an invitation. Come on in. I've got something secret just for you. And there's that confirmation that you get. But if we don't take the pause, we can just run ourselves ragged as entrepreneurs. Right. I think in my audience, and probably surely in yours, primarily women in the audiences that we both serve, there's a lot of tiredness. There's a lot of worn out. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of burdens that they're carrying, specifically, uniquely to women, balancing many things, or I should use not the word balance because I don't really believe that there is an achievability there, but try to, be present in the moment.
Yes.
With all the distractions and the things calling our names. And, this kind of leads me into where you're at with building Rise, virtual, the VAs that you've been starting to work with, and you're developing this team and this incredible business. Let's talk a little bit about, you've recognized your audience's needs, you yourself being an entrepreneur, being a real estate investor, doing all those things. You've recognized a need for help. You've recognized a need for, scaling and growing and developing. You see the value in adding that. So tell us a little bit more about your big new venture and what's going on with all that. Where did it come from?
Okay. Well, I'm so glad you're asking about this. So yes. So what, and this is near and dear to my heart. So Rise Virtual Staffing, yes, you do know I'm a real estate investor. I have a real estate investing company. I am a business coach, coaching women in business. I have written a new book last year. I'm got another business that I'm involved in. And so I kind of call myself like the serial entrepreneur. I've got a couple of partnerships that I'm super excited about that we're, launching businesses for, even short-term rentals, things like that. And, to add all that, then I was in those businesses. One of the things that I think entrepreneurs do is we start with this view. We're going to be an entrepreneur, and people, it's not, I'm talking to both audiences, W-2 people and people who have entrepreneurs. A lot of times we're wanting to start a business. We think it looks like, oh, time schedule, time freedom. You and I both know that's not how it ends up. And we can get on this cycle wheel of just really overextending ourselves, overcompensating for others when we shouldn't be in partnership maybe with them. And you know what I'm talking about there. And so, and the very reason why a lot of people go into business for themselves is they want time freedom, and then they are time strapped and overwhelmed. They're staying up late at night, answering emails. They're doing their inboxes, started this business, and I know what my zone of genius is. I know what it is. But then I'm bogged down in all of the tech things. And before I got on this StreamYard's new for me. I had 3 VAs on the Zoom live with me. I was like, hey, y'all help me figure this out. They're doing it all for me. I don't know. I have to accept, every time when I'm talking to people about business, and even if I'm working with a client, we have to know our strengths, but we have to know what our weaknesses are. And too many times I think entrepreneurs get caught up in budget, all the things, and they just think, oh, I'm just doing it myself. And then all of a sudden they're in what I call their lower 2 quadrants. And this is what I probably would really, if anything, I spoke to the audience about that was considering a virtual assistant. I hired my first VA to just generate leads for me in my real estate company. She then is stepping into management. I ended up having a team of 5 virtual assistants from the Philippines, and they ended up scaling that business. And I think we've bought and sold now 65 or 70 properties in a couple of 2-year window. And they were the ones generating the leads, qualifying those leads. There's no way I could have done that on my own. Now, the first time when I was going to hire a VA, I was like, okay, I don't have time to train them. I don't have time to whatever. But you know what? I just got to a point where it's like, okay, I am doing things that I'm not good at and I don't even enjoy doing. And that is sucking all my time away. So I cannot network. I can't cast the vision. I can't speak. I can't do all the things that I really am good at. That really is more of what God created me to do. So this is how it's kind of started, and it's come into, and really what I found out is, Tracy, is the Philippine women and men that predominantly Christian. My entire team are all strong Christians. They're working in their communities. They're serving in their churches. They have their own ministries. But in a lot of companies, a lot of other companies, there is exploitation of pay. Every one of our VAs, I believe I've doubled their pay coming into our company. And some of them more than double. But because their skill sets, they aren't compensated for their skills and their abilities. It's just kind of like, hey, here's the minimum wage thing, and you're lucky to have a position here. And so that's how really Rise was born. Just was like, I coaching a lot of people in real estate, and they kept asking me, like, I let them see my team. Like, you guys get to see I let you in the back curtain of all of my painful places in life. I'm vulnerable there. And I also, when I'm coaching you, let you in the back office of my team. And a lot of coaches that I've had wouldn't allow that. Well, I did. I introduced them to my team, and they were like, how did you train these VAs? How are they doing all of that? And how can we find someone? And then they were having experiences with other companies that it just wasn't well. Well, this came down to really just a burden for wanting to make a bigger impact. And my team was so moved by working with me here, and my sons, they grew to love us. We grew to love them. And they just were like, Kathy, we want our friends and family and the people, the Philippine people, to experience this kind of relationship with a business entrepreneur who loves the Lord and is going to treat us with the same mutual respect. And so that's how Really Rise was started.
I love that so much. What a tremendous story. And thank you for taking that nudge, what was on your heart, what was on your mind, and executing. This is a perfect example right here. So many people that I run into, Kathy, in my community, they have the idea or they know they want to do this, that, or the other thing, or they want to produce a real estate investing business or whatever it might be. But then there's the failure to execute.
Yeah.
And they're not stepping out and doing the things that are required to bring it to fruition. And this is just a perfect example of how you had the thought, the idea, the nudging, and you took action. Right. And now you have a tremendous result and you're really getting the word out there. And so many people in businesses have been benefiting already from just your soft launch, which wasn't that long ago, to now you're really out there promoting. So you kind of sort of answered the question that I had, what inspired it and what are some of the key features that sets you apart? Did I miss anything on what are some key things that set you apart from other, virtual assistant companies and businesses out there? Are there some differentiation there that you might want to share about?
Yeah, so I've hired from other VA companies and had positive experiences and some negative experiences. For me, I think it's just infusing. I am a faith-based entrepreneur. I'm unapologetic about that. And, one of the things that was why it's so near and dear to my heart, I know what it's like. So I have 4 kids. Their father is deceased. And I went from living in a very lucrative lifestyle, 5,300 square foot house, 4 kids in private Christian school. My spouse, who I dearly loved, had to have an emergency radical resection of his intestines, and he got on prescription painkillers. And it was, there's just, and having worked in addiction, I know there are for some people that addictive propensity is there and they don't know it until they have an agent. And when he started painkillers, it was as though life turned upside down. Wow. He ended up bankrupting everything that we owned, and I had to start over. And so I know what it's like to be a single mom for the first time in my life. And I knew this wasn't really true, but the enemy creates fear. I talk about this in the book as literally, some people look at me now and be like, oh, you're just brave or confident or whatever. I'm like, no, bravery is a skill that is built. And it's built by really small steps of action that just come into this new place. I would have never been able to launch a company like this. When God downloaded this vision for this company, that was on a Sunday. I literally called the team in and told them about it Monday, and the entity was formed on Tuesday. That's not how I always have been, but every time you continue practicing or take little steps, you can do it faster the next time. It's kind of like automatic negative thoughts. When I have them now, I can take them captive faster, but used to they would be debilitating for me. And so it's just this process of learning. But I do think that we have put in an incredible, I'll just tell you, I believe it is the stance, the foundation, and the mission and vision behind us of we believe, my entire team are all, believe that they're representing Christ in our business. And that's how we lead, with a spirit of excellence and integrity. It's very important for us. And so our team, the customer service is definitely above board. You're going to get way more support than you normally would in another company. The other thing too is you are actually getting to see, you get full access to your virtual professional. One of the things that happens in VA companies a lot of times is that, they have a gatekeeper. They don't want to give you too much access to the VA because they don't want you to go behind their back door them and try to hire them directly. I just wasn't going to come from that kind of scarcity mindset. I really was just so what we did, because this is what I wanted to do, was create a community for our virtual assistants. They actually are super close. I'm doing personal growth and development with them on Monday nights. We were doing that every Monday night. Now we do actually a town hall with them, talking about their own, helping them develop their own goals, their own motivation, building their faith, talking to them even about relationships relationships, et cetera, which all of that personal growth and development, even though most of them have college degrees, is definitely overflowing into businesses. And so our clients that have hired VAs from other companies are saying, okay, whoa, I love what they're doing. And then what we do that's different is, I know if you want someone to grow and scale your business and really help you, like my VAs have helped me, my two have been with me for over 2 years. They are running the entire back office of this company and ran the back office of another one. And so you want a minority investor. A person just in a call center cannot do what someone that can step into your business with you in the trenches and create this great relationship and help you really scale and do the things that A, you're not good at, or B, maybe you're good at them, but you don't enjoy doing. So it's sucking all of your energy away to do the things that really God called you to do in the first place. And so that's really where I think virtual assistants and professionals are just great support for whatever it is you want to do. And I'll be honest, like if I had it to do over again, I would have hired VAs a long time ago. I would hire a VA just to help me personally manage my home life. I think, just helping with those. They are now doing our bookkeeping services, all kinds of things, all of the administrative tasks, inbox management, social media management, lead generation. And they're doing all those things for me across the board, graphic creation, editing, video editing. But these are people who needed an opportunity. And I knew that God was calling me to help single moms and single women or women who maybe wanted to help their family with financial resources they needed. And so that's really where the vision was born. I love all of the assistants and I've gotten to know them, and it's changing their lives too. I mean, it's really making an impact for them. So it's really about helping a big impact there, but also providing for a need here with really great assistants that you can trust. I've had some people say, how do you vet them, that sort of thing. And we do really do a very big screening with our virtual assistants. So
I love that. Thank you for bringing clarity to the topic of virtual assistants. And I think mainly because, people talk about it, they hear it. Maybe someone's had a bad experience and it's gotten a bad rap. And yes. I love that you're redefining what it can be, at the highest level of excellence and care that you're providing and training that you're doing, how hands-on you are. I think a lot of times there's not as much hands-on from the CEO, from the owner of the company. And that's where I think a lot of things fall through the cracks. And the other thing I think that is, really important for the cultural differences between us is that you're creating a bridge and a connection where they're now learning, like you said, the mentorship that you're giving to them. They're now learning some of the cultural differences that are necessary for them to bring to the table, the highest level of service to a business in America, for example.
Right.
And so I think that's a comfort to your client, because I think what you stated earlier, I don't want to train. I don't want, I'm doing this to free up my time. Now I feel like I have to teach and train and do all that. And the fact that you've already provided that layer of training and, assurance to your client that's coming on board, or to that new business that needs to grow and scale. And I'm imagining there's such a level of freedom when you can quickly implement a virtual assistant that you have confidence in, and you can kind of just exhale, because now as you're delegating tasks, that they're being done. And I think a lot of times there's the double stress. If we're delegating to someone we don't really know and we're not really sure what they're capable of, and I have to train them, and I have to spend all this time teaching all of the things, I think a lot of people check out at that and say, it's not worth it to me, right?
Yes.
I mean, I'm just playing.
You're absolutely right. That's one of the things. So I get on because I do a lot of our book consults, because you can go on the website, and I want you to have a free consult just so I can hear about your business and make sure that we're, matching you with the right person. And as entrepreneurs, we're already overwhelmed. We're already like maxed out. And so the thought of like, oh my gosh, even bringing someone in and training someone is overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of high level women. When I say high level, what I mean by that is, multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses very successful women, and they're just spent, and they're still doing things. Here they are making that kind of income resource, but they're still spinning their wheels doing things. Or women who are starting a business and they're trying to, which when we're startup, we're obviously cautious about budget, but that's the nice thing about it, is very low cost compared to what you could do to get some general help. But they'll say that to me, and I'm just like, listen, just trust me. If you're a woman in business, this is my say, I mean, like, you need a virtual assistant, period, because there's so many things, and because you're wearing so many more hats. And not that we don't have male clients, we do. I mean, we have attorneys that are hiring from us. Just a doctor just hired. I mean, we've got brokers, agents, lots of coaches, that are coaching women in business or coaching men, and consultants, etc. But I just had a lady, and I was like, just trust me on this. And so she literally was like, okay, my to-do list. I said, just bring them on like this on a Zoom, share with them your to-do list that's just sitting there, and just help them just start pilfering things off that have just been weighing you down. And I always tell people, as an entrepreneur, we're not enjoying life. And this isn't just entrepreneur. We can think about this for anybody. As a person, there's like, 4 quadrants in life: the things that I love and I'm great at, the things that I like and I'm good at, the things that I am good at but I don't like doing, and the things that I don't like and I'm not good at but I'm still doing. I just made a decision a couple of years back that I was like, I'm at my age, I don't want to be in these bottom 2 quadrants anymore. I want to be doing the things that I love and that I'm good at. And anything down here, if I'm doing things that I'm not good at and I don't love, or things that I'm good at but I still don't like doing, there's someone else on this planet that is probably their assignment to do, that they do love those things. And so let me give that to them and get me back to what really God called me to do. And so I just tell people, kind of get started. And this particular one, matter of fact, she messaged the whole group, and she was like, oh my gosh. She started at 11. I gave her my to-do list. It's been sitting there with me staring at it for 2 weeks. She's like, it was done by the end of the day, like just like that. What? And so she was like, I'm a believer. And and just them being able to, we have, managing properties, and communicating with tenants, customer service. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't need to, or things that you need to be done to move that business forward.
Yes, I love that. In my community, I don't want to say I'm known for it, but I do really carefully vet experts and people that I bring in to the community to speak or to provide a service, or maybe it's a coach or something like that. So I really get to know people beforehand. And, I just fell in love with your story, your background, your heart, your mission, your values, such a great alignment between us. And I thought, well, this is, of course, a no-brainer. And, I'm thinking, okay, how can my community support what you're doing? Because, exponentially, it's like, if I put it out into my community and they trust me, then they're more willing to trust you. And that's just how it works, right? Like, no trust. And so I've really been strategic about building that authentically with my community. And so I'm so proud and honored to be able to be a part of, somewhat of the launching, a little bit anyway, to expose to new groups of people to what you're doing. And I love that. Most of the people that follow me or are in my group are, real estate entrepreneurs. They're in business, law, they're wholesalers, they're fix and flippers, they're coaches, they're just a whole variety of people that are, primarily business, primarily entrepreneurs. And a lot of them that I know personally feel stuck, overwhelmed. They're really not sure how to get unstuck, but I feel like this is the perfect bridge and solution to, take that next step. What could we talk about here that would showcase to someone sitting here listening today, or will watch on the replay at some point, that doesn't understand that it's near impossible to grow or scale a business without delegation? It's almost impossible to do that. So we have people just starting out, and we have people that want to go to the next level but find themselves maybe stuck. What would you say is, maybe a couple factors that they might need to consider when maybe they're on the fence and they're just not sure, and they see the good in it, but they're like, well, how can that really help me? Will it really make a difference? Maybe you have someone that is a client that you could give an example of, you just sort of shared that with one of the ladies that she had a pile of things to do and it got done in one day and it freed her up. But is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yes. So I would say, there's a lot of people who've just jumped in. I have a lot of women who are hiring VAs because they've kind of watched how virtual assistants have helped me. And then, of course, they trust me. So that is one reason. But of those, they're still wondering. But there was, she has 4 different businesses. And she's like, literally, it's been a game changer just to give her back her mental space, time with her family. I think I really want to say that to people. And I think one of the things that we all have to come to the end of ourselves to recognize, sometimes, all of our personality types fall up and they show up in unhealthy and healthy ways. And I think for the entrepreneur, a lot of times one of the unhealthy ways is, and even John Maxwell talks about this, about delegation, is this taking things on, feeling like if we don't do it, it's not going to get done right. Well, that's really an arrogance and pride issue that, I think sometimes we have to really look at. I've had to look at that, of just expecting, that if it's not done by me, it won't be done the way I want, et cetera, versus looking at God created us to be in community. And I think in community, even in our businesses, I can't tell you, for me, the experience is amazing. I will say I do a lot of coaching for clients or business owners on how do I develop a team that is not an employee, but a minority investor in my business, because you want minority investors in your business. Well, even your virtual assistants can do that. My virtual assistants are invested in my business. The lady who is saying has a VA now full-time with her, helping her with 4 different businesses. She's invested in that business and she's invested in the VA. And I think the other thing too is, I really believe we all want to make an impact and feel like we're doing something to create an impact or philanthropic, if you will. And so a lot of the women are seeing, and men, our clients are like, okay, not only do I feel like I'm getting a great service, but I am sharing, and I'm vulnerably sharing, and I'm telling my virtual assistants to be vulnerably sharing what is happening in their lives. One of the cool things, and you just can't make these things up, is we had a client who booked a consult with us, and this was like within our first couple of weeks. So one of our first virtual assistants I hired. And when you have a consult with us, we kind of hear about your business, then we're going to match you with candidates. We're going to send you out candidates with their resumes, their voice recordings, so you can hear their, language. And obviously they're obviously from Philippines. They have an accent, but we want to make sure they have a neutral accent so that, they can communicate well. And, but she selected her. So she selected it off of the screening, never had met her, and was set up for the interview or whatever, ends up hiring her. Well, she has an autistic child. The client has an autistic child and is very involved in autism movements and treatments and very active. Well, the VA she hired has an autistic child. And I need this part. And when she told her testimony, I wept listening to this lady. She spoke on. We had a big party together with everybody. Isn't that great how Zoom is? We had a big Zoom party, team party, virtual assistant party. And she got on there and shared, and she was just crying. She just said, and she's very talented. Like, she's crushing it for this woman's business and doing all the things that she needs her to do. Their performance and production's excellent. But her daughter was like, I think her daughter is 5 and she is autistic, and she's never been able to afford the therapies that she needs. And because of her pay raise in Rise, because we did take her out of another place where she's actually extremely skilled. I was blown out of the water at what she was getting paid. Put her in here with a better opportunity. And also then, she's a natural as far as her love and faith, and just allowing that part of her to flourish. So she got on there. She's like, not only is she getting the therapies needs, she's like, Kathy, I now have enough to sponsor another child. So
Wow.
these aren't people who aren't also grasping hold of the vision of this is so that we can give back and do more. And that's really what is. So I think that's a great example.
I love that. That is such a, in my opinion, really does set you apart. It's just your personal stories. Your heart and soul is truly invested. And I think people that comes through so clearly with everything you've shared with us today. For those that are looking to support what you're doing and would love to make a connection with you and, sign up and potentially explore this, what could you share? Is everything just one flat rate, or is it like, are there options? Like, how does it even work to sign up for something like this?
Yes, and great question. So yes, it's not one flat rate. Typically, I mean, like if you were needing someone to, this some of the businesses need people to help generate leads, or do you need an administrative? Do you need a high level administrative person that also has social media management? We are also now, sourcing bookkeeping. So there's depending on basically the task that you need, there's a various rate, and it is really ranging anywhere from 7 an hour to $9 or $10 an hour for bookkeepers. We have someone that's actually working in with a pretty high level administrative, doing social media management, doing their graphic design, website design. Those would be that kind of higher end. So it ranges from 7 to 10 right now, although we have been asked to recruit attorneys there just to help on the research side. And so we have also recruited, because I have a faith-based entrepreneur who is a strong Christian. And so we have recruited a couple of attorneys for him, or attorneys that are going to utilize, because if they've had their bar exam in the Philippines, they can still, then they're familiar with law and research. So they're just helping them with the research, all the things, same thing. This attorney is just bogged down in the things that he needs to prepare for cases, and has hired an attorney on that side to help him with that. That's a Christian, and he wanted someone that was a Christian in his business, and she is, and so just matches with our core values. And so there is a range there. Obviously, if it was an attorney or a high professional like that, we really haven't gotten into that. It's not my specialty, but because he already has VAs with us, he just asked if that might be an option, and I had connection there, because I have a lot of connections in the Philippines, so that's really helpful.
I love that. And so, is one of your strategies really to diversify your offerings in terms of specialties, or are you narrowing it down? You just shared a variety of different capacities with which individual VAs would have unique experiences and expertise. So, delivering bookkeeping is obviously very different than managing social media. Are you trying to zone in on specifics geared towards any particular niche, or are you broader in your offering for a purpose? What would you find what are you mainly focusing on in terms of your target audience?
Yeah. So right now, look, we are kind of niching to specific things, and it's interesting how it's developing. So cold calling, lead generation, lead managers, a lot of agents, brokers, real estate investors, insurance agent companies are using callers for that. Customer service, just being able to answer customer service calls. But lead generation, then we're really also niching into administrative tasks, just inbox management, email management, handling their DocuSign transmissions, whatever that looks like in your business. I know if you looked at my inbox way back when and what they've done, Facebook Messenger, we're all on social media. And if you run a business, you may be on social media a lot. They're, answering those messages, some of the things, coaches, it's really been what has come out that I wasn't quite expecting, but has been such a great situation. So we're really niching that is people like coaches or consultants. They have their coaching platforms, Eventbrite, Go High Level, all of these things that they've got to, when leads come in, they need to answer them, source them, etc. So really coaches, consultants on that social media management side, administrative. And then the reason why we kind of added bookkeeping in is just because every entrepreneur is, every time I've coached one, talked to one, and in my own life, we are behind on our receipts, on our on our entry of, and in real estate especially. So we've got people that are flippers that are or own rental properties, short-term rentals. They need someone to help them just manage that. Or if you're doing a project, for me, I flip properties. So I'll use my virtual assistants to just help me stay organized. They create all my Excel spreadsheets. They create all of my property, profit and losses, and are helping me manage that. So I'm at a Home Depot or whatever, I can just screenshot the receipt and I know they're going to categorize it, put it where it needs to go, and then we're going to get that to the CPA and things. I have never been so organized. When I talk to people, and so on the bookkeeping side, when you hire a VA, a lot of times they can do multiple things for you. And the other thing too is, unlike other companies, when you hire from other companies, most of the time they're like, you're hiring a caller. That's their task. That's what they're doing. And if you want someone now to help you with, data entry or some of your administration, you have to hire someone different for that task. We're not doing that. I'm really saying, look, and what ended up happening is one of the women was like, started her out on just helping with lead generation, but then realized she's got all this experience with Excel and Microsoft and Google Sheets and Google Docs. And she just started asking her to do things. Well, now she's created all of this stuff. Now she's stepping over and managing her property management company. So that is, when they're with your company, we're going to let them do what they do best and what you need the most.
And I think there's nothing more important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, where you have someone that takes initiative. It's not just, this is the role, you're the caller, but they're recognizing and they're alert to your need. And they step up to the plate and initiate that, ability to solve that problem that you didn't even know you could ask them for. And I think that's what really knocks it out of the park, is just the self-awareness in really wanting to know your business and all aspects of the things that you might need, because the ultimate goal is to reduce the burden, right? To allow you to do the things that you need to be doing. So I did drop a couple links on Facebook in my group and on this live chat for the link to join. If you would like that discovery call, I'm assuming that's what it is, Kathy, but I don't want to take that for granted, knowing that, but I'm assuming you're going to do a little bit of a conversation with that business owner and get to know them. What does that part look like?
Yeah, so they can just go right onto the website and book a free consult. They'll just it'll give them a Calendly link. They'll just book the consult. I usually, right now, I am doing a lot of the consults with, actually my team leads manage that consult and go through the business plan, things like that. I jump on those though right now. How long I'll be able to do that, we are growing. But the team or my leads will kind of want to know about your business. What does it look like? What is the thing that is just bogging you down the most? Like, if I always say, like, if you could wave a magic wand and take one thing off of your plate, or you feel like you're in like the bottleneck of your business, whatever that is, what is the bottleneck? And then we start kind of peeling it back from there. And that just ends up being a great conversation to really look at their business. What do they need? And then we then begin matching them with candidates that either we have or we're recruiting and sourcing for them. And so that process then, and it's just that simple. It's like, hey, what do you need? Yes, I want to do this. When do you want to start? We make sure we lock down the start date so that we're ready for them and prepared for them. We then pull those candidates together, let them, look at their resumes, have a voice recording so they can hear them. If they need to interview them also, they can. A lot of people don't interview. They select right off the thing. They look at their things. They know what they want to do. They hear their voice and they're like, I think this person's going to be perfect. We will then do a live onboard with you. The team onboards the virtual assistant with you on a Zoom, make sure we have everything, prepping them for it. And then we also do keep a manager tied to that virtual assistant. And so you'll be in an ability to chat with a manager and your virtual assistant at all times. And so if you need additional assistance, if the VA needs assistance, if there's something else that even, one of the things that we are doing here too is I really want them to grow. I'm really pressing forward this and infusing in them this desire for growth. So they also, our VAs, we're also doing continued training, which they don't get in other places. So if you want to learn about, if you don't know Canva, and I'm teaching them and coaching them to be diverse. If you don't know how to do Canva and logos, you don't know how to do website or whatever it is, you don't know spreadsheets because you're just you're only calling. They have the opportunity to go through those trainings and learn those and get their, kind of certified that they completed those, which only then benefits the business owner all the more. And so I do want them to continue growing because, Tracy, this is just about life. This is really just, I really looked at it. I really is like women empowering other women to rise up, although we have male clients, but I really niche to women. And of course, that's my audience is mostly women. Not that we don't have a lot of men coming in that are clients, but majority are women because that's my focus. And I really kind of set up with the thing of just women empowering other women to rise. We are across a bodies of water. We serve the same God here in the States as they serve in the Philippines, and how there's no distance, time, space. And they have needs and dreams and desires just like we do. And we're just, I feel like God's just given me the kind of duty to broker great relationships. And also giving you an opportunity to really have the greatness extracted in you and by support that you need. And then you getting an opportunity to extract the greatness in someone else. And that's really, to be honest, what we're seeing happening. This isn't just a recruitment place. This is beyond that. And so that's kind of why and the how and what we're doing.
That's tremendous. You're packing a punch and so much value. And I can't help but think about the impact that you don't see, the kingdom impact, or, the conversations that are happening that you're not aware of that are so positive and so encouraging. And just the ripple effect of taking initiative, taking what was on your heart and to do, and then executing and doing it. And now just watching it grow is got to be incredibly rewarding. Folks, for those of you who might just be stopping by, I'm here with Kathy Ford, and we're actually wrapping up, and we're going to allow this recording to be in both her platform and my platform and in my group. So for those of you who want to go back, rewind, and get a little more information about Rise Virtual Staffing, which is Kathy's company that she has just started, and really just putting it out there and launching it to the world in recent weeks. But I'm thrilled to be a part of sharing this with my community. For those of you who are ready to take your business either to the next level, maybe perhaps scale and grow, or perhaps you're just getting started and maybe you're working a full-time job and you don't see the ability for you to ever get out of that W-2 and cross over to your dream of entrepreneurship. And you need a bridge. You need something to get you from freeing up that valuable time that none of us can get back. I mean, let's be honest, the time that we have is our most valuable resource. We can't get it back, and we don't want to live in regret either, wasting months or years of our life justifying perhaps not doing it, and realizing that we're no further along the way. If anyone relates to that, definitely give me a thumbs up on that, because we've all been there.
Yeah.
But here's the bridge. This is a phenomenal company that I can back and endorse and support. And this won't be the last conversation that we'll have. I would welcome Kathy back to the platform, because there is endless things, as you can see, that we could talk about based on all the things that Kathy is doing and her expertise and all the amazing things that she's putting out there. I couldn't be more honored to spend this hour with you, Kathy. I will continue to share the link and get that replay out there. And for any of you who would like to connect with Kathy or follow her, that maybe just meeting Kathy for the first time, I will drop her website link as well as her Facebook handle so that you can, give her a follow, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. So Kathy, this has been tremendous. Is there anything else you want to wrap up with or share that we haven't covered?
No, Tracy, thank you. So listen, I just, it's interesting how when you connect with someone, you're just like, there's like this common like ground. And so I just appreciate you, and just appreciate you opening up I'm not the only one. You're just opening up your door and constantly collaborating with other people. I think that's especially for women. We just this collaboration versus competition, and not looking at someone and being like, whatever they're doing makes you feel like you're less than, but instead of looking at it as, okay, if she can do it, I can do this too. I always feel like with women, I even tell this to my team, look, you need to be like a baton in each hand, one where you are connected to someone who is ahead of you, that can be a mentor, a coach, or just someone to be like your cheerleader. And then you've got one that you're ahead of someone, and to coach someone or to empower someone or give back into someone's life, you have to be like this far ahead of them. It's not like you have to be way here, and we're going to be healing until Jesus comes, and we're going to be evolving and transforming, hopefully, until he comes. And so, like I always tell that, I was like, we want to be pulling someone up or reaching for a hand to learn more about his grace, and success leaves clues. We know that. And so that's really what I feel like right now more than ever is happening, especially with women. I'm in more collaboration right now with amazing women like you and others, who we are here to just cheer each other on. And I just, and it's pushing the kingdom forward. I said at the beginning, I can feel it. And you know what? That hasn't always been easy for me. When being an entrepreneur, I've felt very alone. A lot of times I've had friends that weren't entrepreneurs or didn't in business. So then you feel this guilt of why did God create me to enjoy this? And yet then I've got my family, and of course, that's my number one ministry. And like you said, I don't think there's a balance. I think it is that God gives you a grace, if he's like CEO of your life, to know, hey, there's times I've had to step back from business because my family is most important, and my family will always come first before any ministry or any business. And so, this is just you even having this. This is a perfect example. And so I appreciate you and just value you, and can't wait to share on my platform about all the things you're doing, your new book that's coming out. I mean, it's so cool to see just people kind of listening to the Lord and moving forward, even though you're afraid. I mean, like none of us don't not have fear. Like,
Right.
This business, like it almost be easier if I wasn't it's a burden. Like it's not easy. Like these women are now counting on this business. I mean, when you look at it from that point, it's so, you know what? I can't carry that. I literally am like, okay, Lord, you know their needs more than I do. And I trust that the Lord is going to put it on the running tracks. I'm just like this vessel of like, I'm just obeying, and God's going to do it. And, but yeah, so really just thank you so much. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, having me on.
And I feel the same way about you. Thank you. You're living out the book that you created, being brave. You're living out the calling on your life. And there's nothing more attractive or more powerful, in my opinion, than when someone's walking in that alignment and doing the things, And so I'm so grateful. And I'm going to be sharing the links. Kathy is also in my group for any of those of you who would love that additional support and content that I put out. I'll also drop that link as well. But super thrilled to collaborate and bring this out to the world. And I'm really cannot wait to hear the response of people that, have taken that next leap of faith, and to hear later how that has made a huge impact in their business. There's nothing better, in my opinion. So I'm so thrilled. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Yes, thank you, guys. Bye.